Welcome back to High Stakes. Elevate your betting game by hitting that subscribe button and ensure you never miss out on our daily content. Want exclusive access to premium betting picks? Join our Patreon. Links are waiting for you in the comment section below. Stay ahead of the game with High Stakes. Illinois-Chicago, UIC versus Northwestern. Northwestern enters this matchup at 1-1 with a narrow loss to a quality Dayton team, 71-66 on the road. Back at home, the Wildcats are expected to bounce back with a strong performance, likely covering the spread. Leading the Northwestern offense is Nick Martinelli, who's emerged as a potent scorer, averaging an impressive 29 points per game and accumulating 58 points over just 2 outings. The Wildcats finished last season ranked 35th in adjusted offensive efficiency, 115.9 points per 100 possessions, and currently sit at 52nd, 111.9. Defensively, they're even more formidable, ranked 21st in the nation with a defensive efficiency rating of 95.2. Northwestern's balanced strength on both ends of the floor should help them handle their in-state rival Tuesday night. Prediction: Northwestern Wildcats minus 15.5 points. Northwestern's defense, allowing only 95.2 points per 100 possessions, stands as one of the best in the country. UIC, meanwhile, ranks 177th in adjusted offensive efficiency, scoring 104.1 points per 100 possessions, a potential mismatch that could hinder the Flames. Northwestern's deliberate pace, with an adjusted tempo of 68.8 possessions per 40 minutes, 318th in the nation, adds another dimension to this contest. UIC also plays at a moderate pace, ranking 181st in tempo, 71.1. The slower pace, combined with UIC's lower offensive production, could make it difficult for the Flames to keep up on the scoreboard. Prediction: under 142.5 points. Florida Atlantic, FAU versus UCF. UCF's recent struggles with three-point shooting, hitting just 10% from deep in their last outing, don't bode well for their matchup with FAU. The Owls are known for their strong interior defense, forcing turnovers, limiting free throws, and controlling the boards. Without an effective outside shot, UCF will find it challenging to crack FAU's defensive scheme. On the offensive end, FAU has been consistent, shooting efficiently, and excelling in offensive rebounding, an area where UCF has already shown vulnerability. Given these dynamics, this game is expected to be close, with FAU likely able to stay within 5 points. Prediction: FAU plus 5.5 points. Defensively, FAU has been impressive, holding opponents to just 56.5 points per game and restricting them to 34.8% shooting. They're also limiting offensive rebounds and forcing turnovers, which should be effective against a UCF offense struggling with overall shooting, 38.5% field goals, and averaging 69.5 points per game. UCF, on the other hand, is known for slowing down the game's pace. Their defense has been solid as well, holding teams to 64.5 points per game, 39.8% shooting, and limiting trips to the foul line. Given both teams' defensive strengths and UCF's emphasis on controlling the tempo, this matchup is expected to be low-scoring. Prediction: under 152 points. NCAA versus George Washington. George Washington's defensive weaknesses present North Carolina A&T with a prime opportunity to make a statement on the road. The Aggies will need to keep things competitive, as George Washington boasts an offense that averaged 76.8 points per game in 2023-24, ranking 88th in the nation. Last season, George Washington posted a 14-17 record against the spread ATS, with a 7-10 mark at home. Meanwhile, NCAA went 16-16 ATS, performing better on the road with a 9-7 record. The Aggies also had a solid post-loss record at 13-11. Prediction: NCAA to cover. Both teams have shown struggles defensively, which should lead to a high-scoring game on Tuesday. The Aggies hit the over in 46.9% of their games last season, including a 9-7 record on the road and 9-4 in non-conference games. Although George Washington has missed the over in their first 2 games this season, They were 15-16 on overs last year, with a balanced 6-6 record in non-conference matchups. Prediction: take the over. Texas State versus TCU. This marks the first meeting between Texas State and TCU since 2009, a game where Texas State managed to cover the significant spread. Given TCU's struggles with shooting, especially from beyond the arc, I'm inclined to believe a similar outcome is likely here. With both teams aiming to maintain their undefeated streaks, this should result in a hard-fought and competitive game. Despite their 2-0 start, TCU failed to cover the spread in their last game and has gone 1-3 against the spread in their last 4 dating back to last season. On the other hand, Texas State has covered the spread in their last 8 games in a row. Prediction: Texas State Bobcats plus 15.5 points. Although both teams have secured blowout victories over weaker opponents, I expect this to be a lower-scoring affair. TCU's shooting struggles, while likely to improve, will be compounded by the game's intensity. TCU will look to control the tempo at home, but neither team has exceeded 70 points against a weaker opponent thus far. Both squads also boast strong scoring defenses, making an under play the safer option. Prediction: under 137.5 points. UTSA versus Bradley. The UTSA Roadrunners have had a week off, and with that comes some rust, especially early in this game. Meanwhile, the Bradley Braves have been playing against competition closer to their level, and they've looked solid in those matchups. Given UTSA's extended break and Bradley's consistency, I expect the Braves to cover the spread with ease at home, winning by more than 10 points. Prediction: Bradley Braves minus 10.5 points. Both teams have been offensively dominant early in the season, with UTSA averaging 103.0 points per game and Bradley putting up 81.0 points per contest. Both teams have also been shooting the ball well. UTSA is hitting 47.4% of their shots, while Bradley is shooting 50%. Additionally, both teams are adept at creating turnovers, with UTSA averaging 21.0 steals per game and Bradley swiping 7 per game, leading to more fast break opportunities. Given these high-scoring trends, the total points should exceed 153.5. Prediction: over 153.5 points. Ohio versus Illinois State. Despite Ohio's defensive struggles, I have more faith in their overall team performance, especially when compared to Illinois State's recent shooting woes. Illinois State has struggled to break 40% shooting in their last 2 games, which makes them hard to trust. Historically, Ohio has the upper hand, winning both previous matchups against Illinois State in 2009 and 2010. While those games were quite some time ago, Ohio remains the more relevant and established program. They've also been much better against the spread recently, going 8-2 in their last 10 games, while Illinois State is 1-4 ATS in the same span. Prediction: Ohio Bobcats minus 2.5 points. Both teams are scoring fairly well, with Illinois State averaging 71 points per game and Ohio at 80. Although Ohio has had some defensive struggles, Illinois State's poor shooting form gives Ohio the opportunity to set the pace of the game. The Redbirds will likely need to shoot better to keep up. Illinois State has been trending towards the over, going 6-3 in their last 9 games in that category. With Ohio's pace of play and Illinois State's scoring ability, I expect the total to go over 145.5 points. Prediction: over 145.5 points. UL Monroe versus Rice. Defensively, there's a clear contrast between these two teams. UL Monroe has been struggling, allowing an average of 78.7 points per game, while Rice has been much more solid on defense, giving up only 71.5 points per game. Offensively, UL Monroe relies heavily on one player to put up points, whereas Rice has a more balanced attack with 4 players averaging at least 10 points per game. Given the disparities in both offensive and defensive consistency, Rice should comfortably cover the spread. Prediction: Rice Owls minus 7.5 points. As for shooting, both teams have been inconsistent early in the season, with UL Monroe shooting 41.7% from the floor and Rice slightly behind at 41%. Both teams also lack significant rim protection, with the Warhawks recording just 2.0 blocks per game and the Owls posting 3.5. Considering these factors and the team's struggles to sustain efficient scoring, I'm predicting a lower scoring affair, making the under the better play. Prediction: under 145.5 points. Cleveland State versus Valparaiso. This matchup pits two former Horizon League rivals against each other, with Valparaiso coming in as the more battle-tested squad. Cleveland State enters this game after a tough loss and will be dealing with the effects of a recent blowout, all while navigating a tough road schedule. Valparaiso, on the other hand, has had a balanced offensive attack with 4 players averaging over 8 points per game, and they've been dominant on the glass. They also have a strong historical record against Cleveland State, winning their last 6 matchups both straight up and against the spread. Prediction: Valparaiso minus 1.5 points. When it comes to offense, Cleveland State has struggled against tough power conference defenses, and while they were able to score big in a blowout win against a lesser opponent, it's unclear how they'll perform against a more evenly matched team like Valparaiso. The Beacons, despite their impressive offensive outing in their last game, won't replicate that high-scoring performance here. Given the recent history and how both teams have struggled against stronger defenses, this game is expected to stay under the total. Prediction: under 150 points.